Okay, thanks for having me. I am Jesse Webster, Water Program Manager at NRM North. So I do everything else outside of the combined system. So I also work alongside Taswater for delivery of the River Health Action Plan. And so what I'll talk about today sits outside of the combined system. So there's two parts to this equation, the combined system and what we call the catchment works program. So the outcome is to reduce pathogens from entering the Tamar Estuary and Esk rivers. And within the catchment works program, we have the Tamar Action Grants, which is what I'll cover. And we have the sewage intrusion program, which Ed will talk about. So we've got a whole range of partnerships in delivering the catchment works program. And it's over a 6-year time frame. So what's the objective of the Tamar Action Grants? It's to restrict stock from waterways, rehabilitate streamside vegetation, manage weeds along our waterways, improve stock watering access, reduce riverbank erosion, flood resilience, increase habitat and biodiversity, connectivity across the landscape, improve stream health for aquatic plants and animals, and above all, improve water quality. So there's a whole range of things there that the River Health Action Plan focuses on pathogens. However, in the catchment, when you fence out stock, you get a whole range of ecological benefits and environmental benefits outside of that. So the program essentially funds fencing, revegetation and weed management, stock crossings, water infrastructure. Now, that's in the dairy and grazing space. And then within dairy itself, we also have an improvement or effluent improvement program as well. So I'll get into some examples, but what that kind of means is storage capacity, solid separation, water use efficiency and capturing rainfall. Some of the stats for the Tamar Action Grants. So overall goal in the 6-year period is 724 kilometres of fencing. Currently we've contracted 60% of that. This is at June 30. We've completed about 30% of that. We've also had 1,000 hectares of riparian vegetation protected or streamside vegetation protected. In the effluent management space, we've contracted 2,500 what they call hectares of milking platform. It's the output in which we measure improvement, which is over halfway to get to the 4,000 hectares. What that is in dollar values. So we have 3.8 contracted. We've leveraged almost $3 million with a total of 6.7 million in overall project works to June 30. And what that means in stock numbers, so once those contracted works have been complete, and just remember we're only sort of halfway through this project, it's estimated there's 15,000 cattle in this, as well as almost 200,000 sheep and 6,000 dairy cows. Now, going into this program, there was a big focus on cows out of creeks, and what pathogen inputs that they have. However, now at halfway through this program, where we've actually realised that there's significant amount of sheep that are also out there in the grazing space that we really didn't consider in the beginning. Okay, some examples. So what does it look like on ground? So this is a project in the North Esk. It's on Roses Rivulet. It's a medium-sized property. You've got 1,000 cows, 3,000 head of sheep. They had 4 sites, total of 6 kilometres over multiple years. They had 3 crossings. They had quite a bit of weed management and revegetation over that period as well. And 20,000 stems. So it's a relatively good-sized project over multiple years, and it kind of includes everything that was eligible through the program. There's a map to give you a little understanding of what it looked like. So the yellow lines are the proposed fencing. The black lines are existing fencing. And at the end of the project, the 6 kilometres of Roses Rivulet through that property will actually be fenced out completely of stock, as well as manage the weed population and actively revegetation that. So it'll look significantly different and have big environmental changes over the next 4 years for this project. So some before and afters, stock crossing on the bottom left there. The fence has gone in, some gorse has been managed, and then it's been sprayed out, ready for revegetation. On the right-hand side there, so the fencing that's gone in there, ongoing with its landholder, I've come back multiple times. This is after 12 months, and you can already see that the vegetation within that riparian zone is already starting to bounce back. Here's an example for dairy stock exclusion. So this is Meander River, South Esk catchment. 700 dairy cows, so pretty good sized dairy. 2 kilometres of fencing, a couple of crossings, quite a significant amount of water infrastructure, some weed control and some revegetation. So once again, a broad spectrum of what can be funded. So some examples, this is the before, pretty common, cows in a waterway. And then afterwards, it's hard to see the fence because it's actually only 2 wires. But the fence is on the left-hand side there. On the right-hand side, we've got the trough. There's actually a fence in the background, it's kind of hard to see. And is another example of effluent management. So this one is in the Meander Valley catchment once again. Only a small dairy, 250 cows. So the idea of this project was to increase that reuse area by 30 hectares. They want to better manage their storage, which then helps to improve the application or the depth that they're actually spreading on. So what did that mean? That was 2 main new hydrants or pipes with hydrants on them, which is the blue lines. It's kind of hard to see in the picture. And then the area that's green is the new expanded area. This project also included a new pump and a new hard hose irrigator. So some photos there. We've got a happy landholder. He's just had all his pipe installed. He's standing next to a hydrant. You can see there's a trencher, some digging going on. So basically, it's all infrastructure. It's laying new pipe. Oh. And he's got a new diesel pump and a hard hose irrigator.
Does he have to pay anything towards this?
Of course. There is a water sampling program that goes along with it. Ted did mention this morning that you need to be able to sort of justify what you're doing along the way. We have 19 sites established across the catchment, over 6 properties. They do all work, they are all recipients of Tamar Action Grants, so we will see fencing and revegetation and project works happening over this time. We are looking at property scale change. So these sites are actually located high up in the catchment where we would expect inputs of fresh water or non-agricultural, so essentially forest. And we're looking for change through a property as the influence of farming puts pressure on those waterways. And then over time, as we fence out the stock, we would expect to see some change. I've got a whole bunch of parameters that we measure there. Enterococci is the main one. That's how we measure pathogens. But there's also dissolved oxygen, pH, EC, all of the normal things that you would look at for water quality. So all of this data does get fed into the overall catchment model, and it is used for reporting purposes. Some photos. So this is us out capturing water sampling. There's two of our probes on the left-hand side, so they're water probes. The take will give us sample readings for what's in the water. There's a photo of myself out water sampling. And that's it. I've managed to get all the way through there. I've probably got 2 minutes left.